We have a very short reading from Wendell Berry, who writes, "To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark, too, blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings." Because today is a multi-generational service, because small people don't necessarily like to sit for a whole hour, because not small people sometimes don't necessarily like to sit for a whole hour, I am going to invite you in just a moment to join me in an embodied prayer and invitation. The turning of the year, the changing of the seasons, the snug darkness of the night, and the warmth of the sun's rays, all of these are things we experience with our bodies. So I invite you to celebrate our connection to these things and our gratitude for them with our whole bodies. The words I'm about to speak are the lyrics to the song "Breathe In, Breathe Out," again by Peter Mayer. There's kind of a theme here. As I speak, I hope that you will all move along with the words as you are able. You are welcome to stand up and spread out and make some room. If your body is happier sitting and you want to just move your arms a little bit, if that's what's comfortable for you, do that. There is no have to. There is no should. But I invite you and give you an invitation to move if you wish. Hands open to the day. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in. Breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling down towards the earth. Eyes lifted to the light. Turn the page. Hands, branches, catching rain. Breathe in. Breathe out. Then rising like a stalk of grain. Breathe in. Breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling down towards the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands open to the day. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in. Breathe out. You're invited to be seated. Which do you like better, light or dark? Light? Dark? I like them both, and I will tell you why. Because one of my very favorite things to do in the whole world is to watch meteor showers, or just the stars in general. I love being outside at night, like when I'm camping or when I visit the coast on a clear night, and I can see so many stars. I can even see the Milky Way, thousands of stars, and then this cloud down the middle of the sky, which isn't really a cloud, it's just more stars. Not only do we love the appearance of a little light shining through the darkness, because all of those stars, they're still up there. We just can't see them because the sun's kind of an ego hog. We need a balance of light and dark in order to live. Being in bright light all the time or being in darkness all the time isn't good for us. We don't sleep well without the dark. We don't live well without the light. People who work night shift tend to be less healthy than people who work during the day. No one knows exactly why, but we are pretty evolved to sleep during darkness and be awake during the day, and ideally outside during part of that day. Humans need balance. And like the story we told earlier about the Oak King and the Holly King, the earth needs balance also. Our long ago ancestors noticed that the earth grew darker and colder until finally the sun started coming back little by little. This is the origin of the winter solstice and all the stories and myths and legends around it. So many people celebrated the winter solstice that when other religions wanted to celebrate something, tagging on to winter solstice became kind of a popular place to put holidays. Folks were already celebrating the return of the light, so let's celebrate another holiday then. Scholars believe that Jesus was probably actually born in April. But if you say that he was light of the world, it makes sense to celebrate his birth closer to the winter solstice. Hanukkah is a minor Jewish holiday that celebrates the victory of the Maccabees, a family of fighters, over the Greeks who had desecrated their temple by sacrificing pigs in it, which is about the opposite of kosher. According to the legend, after the Maccabees won, they lit their menorah, but there was only enough sanctified oil for one night, and it took 8 nights to make more oil. I've always felt that the miracle of the story is knowing that there wasn't enough oil and lighting it anyway. That's faith. That's hope. That's what we need, my friends. Kwanzaa, an African American celebration created in the 1960s, is based on African values, including umoja, or unity, kujichagulia, which is self-determination, ujima, collective work and responsibility, ujama, cooperative economics, nia, purpose, and kumba, or creativity. Like Hanukkah, the celebration features the lighting of candles each day as a different value is celebrated. And that holiday runs December 26th to January 1st. India's major holiday is Diwali. It's celebrated in October or November, but it's still built around shining lights in the darkness. All of these holidays have in common a central metaphor of light in the darkness, a holy return of the light. It may be cold and dark right now, but it will not be that way forever. The sun will return again. But you can't have light in the darkness unless you have the darkness. I think one of the great problems of our modern way of life is that we don't honor the dark. As recently as 100 years ago, people in rural America didn't have electricity in their homes. Think about that for a minute. Can you even imagine? Ron Adams, who died last year, or the year before last, didn't have electricity growing up. Most of us currently have computers in our pockets. But it wasn't until FDR's rural electrical project that electricity spread to all the rural areas of the United States. Life was profoundly different. Now darkness doesn't stop us from doing much, except maybe having picnics. We go to bed about the same time year around. We shop, we go to restaurants, we go to movies, we go to friends' houses, or we stay home in our own cozy houses and watch television or read or help our kids with homework or play on the computer. But for millennia, this was not how life worked. Sure, we had candles and then maybe oil or kerosene lamps, but life was more limited after dark. We stayed home. We cozied up with our families. And I think we're missing something by not honoring the dark. What would it mean to sit with the dark a little bit? What would it mean to let the quiet inhabit us for a little bit? What lessons could we learn? What stillness could enter our souls and give us just a little bit of a break? And yes, what would happen if we let ourselves slow down enough to feel the big feelings that we tend to shove down in the business of our lives? This has been a hard year for many of us. The cruelty of this administration and what they are doing to our friends and neighbors is heart-wrenching. And we, as a congregation, have lost seven beloved members over the course of this last year. Ron Pitney, Dave Hebert, Kate Grant, Bill Gagne, Marina McIntyre, Sam Wynn, Charlotte Sinclair. We have 2 more at least recent widowers, 3 as of this morning. Several members have lost siblings or parents this year, and that is a lot of loss for one congregation to absorb. It's a lot of loss for one minister to absorb, clearly. We come together so we don't have to do the work of grieving alone. Either grieving the state of the world or grieving our own losses or the losses of the congregation. For many of us, just acknowledging our sorrows can help alleviate them. We work so hard sometimes not to acknowledge what's happened. Being able to share our grief or express our pain can help us fighten our way out of it so we can welcome the return of the light. Without the darkness, we can't see the stars. It is harder than just admitting the pain. It is harder than simply acknowledging the challenges of life. I am not saying that this is easy work. I am saying that life is about balance, and that acknowledging the hard things, the parts that are rough and painful, is the best way to begin to find that stillness. And without that stillness, we know what happens to grief that isn't acknowledged, don't we? It spills out in all kinds of ways.